What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, and I just stayed up all night playing the new Star Wars Battlefront Beta. I wanted to give you kind of my first impressions review style format on how the game is shaping up. Let's get this out of the way first. This beta has some major balance issues. Many of the weapons and abilities that are going to be in the full game aren't yet implemented, so because of that, some game modes don't work as well as they probably should. That being said, this beta was still extremely fun, and I'm not even that big of a Star Wars geek, it's just a well-made game. We were able to play in 3 different modes, and I want to go over what each of those modes had and how they played. First, there's Walker Assault. This is the main draw of the game. In this, there's a huge AT-AT that's trying to break into a base and kill a bunch of rebels. If you're playing as the rebels, you need to stop this AT-AT at any cost, and to do this, you need to try and defend these points. You have to run out on the field and capture these towers, which will call in more planes to try and attack and weaken the AT-AT. As you're running around, you're going to notice all these power-ups on the field. These make things like shields that will defend your team, rocket launchers that will hurt the AT-AT, or just different bonuses, including the ability to jump into vehicles. When I first saw footage from Star Wars Battlefront, I was nervous as to how the vehicles would control. I mean, the battlefield is huge, how could they give you free open reign? Thankfully, they do give you full control. When you jump in any vehicle, you get to go anywhere you want, including the airships. As I'm flying around, I can get in dogfights, swoop in and try and bomb people on the ground, or just attack key points. I'm genuinely surprised how well they were able to balance this. I could even drive the AT-AT myself. Well, not drive it, but I can at least control all the different turrets on it and help people in a pinch. The other power-ups that are littered around in this mode make it where you can set down turrets or deploy proximity mines, and occasionally you can get a power-up that'll turn you into one of the heroes. Playing as either Darth Vader or Luke Skywalker is hilarious. They have like a 40-foot leap, and pretty much anything that gets in front of you, you can just tap your lightsaber button and chop them in half. I did learn the hard way that you probably shouldn't try and take out vehicles. Walkers seem to have an automatic damage radius around their feet. If they're moving, they're constantly crushing things near them, and even Luke Skywalker can't exactly get stepped on by 400 tons of metal. As I was saying earlier, this game mode is absolutely broken as the Rebels, and it's incredibly easy as the Empire. This AT-AT constantly walks at a slow pace towards the base. If it gets there, it automatically wins. And you know what? It always wins. The only chance you really have of even stopping one of the AT-ATs is to get lucky and be able to get an airship and trip it. But even while you're trying to trip it, you have to do a QTE and hope you don't hit the side of a hill. There's a lot of small glitches that makes this game type not function at all. In fact, I think that they need to up the damage that the rebels do. If I'm able to call in an airstrike on the AT-AT, it should take off 25% of its total health instead of 5%. The next game mode that you can play in is called Drop Zone. This is kind of a capture the flag zone defense style game. In it, you and your team are trying to capture and defend a point, a drop pod that's landed in this rocky terrain. Once you capture it, you have to defend it for 30 seconds. Do this successfully and you get a point. In this mode, there's not as many power-ups, there's no vehicles, it's just you on foot using your weapons to kill the enemy. In this game mode is when I really came to appreciate the card system. This is how Battlefront does perks. You can equip special grenades, sniper rifles, anything you want to try and specialize your playstyle. The final game mode is called Survival, and in this, it's single player if you don't have any friends to play with, or you can do split screen co-op. In this, waves and waves of bad guys are trying to kill you and you wipe them all out for victory, until eventually you're overwhelmed and die. This was a nice break from the multiplayer, and it also made me feel powerful. I got to try out new weapons and just really blow the crap out of a bunch of Empire people for fun. The graphics, sound, and overall aesthetic perfectly capture the Star Wars universe, but when I was deep in the game, it still felt just kinda like a newer, fancier version of the latest Battlefield game. The game still needs a lot of work before its launch. It does work great, and I had a lot of fun with it, but I just don't know if it's enough. The fact that there's no campaign, the fact that there's no real single player story, seems like a giant waste of this game's full potential. That's just my opinion though. Tell me what you guys think of the Star Wars Battlefront beta in the comments down below. Give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming.